is the spotlight. Welcome to another wonderful show highlighting the arts here in St. Lucie Public Schools. Again, we have a very dynamic and exciting show planned for you as we talk to famed theater teacher Patrick Madden about what's happening this summer, but also about what's happening in classrooms all across our districts as we think about drama. We have three of those fantastic students that are going to be with us as well as we talk about this summer musical theater project that's going to be another exciting show that you don't want to miss. With us is Quinn Simmons from Lincoln Park Academy, Chelsea Kisserman, and Journey Velez. You're going to enjoy hearing their story, hearing about the summer musical, but also meeting these wonderful students and Mr. Madden. Mr. Madden, welcome to the show.
Good morning.
How many does this make, Mr. Madden?
A lot.
A lot.
I know that this is year 28 for me, at the end of year 28.
Year 28. But tell us about the Summer Musical Theater Project. How many years ago did it start? How did it get started?
You know this well because you were there at the beginning with me. And we started this together 21 years ago. This is the 21st annual Summer Musical. It was started, people ask me this all the time, it was started because at a lot of the other schools at that time, they were not doing musicals. And we thought it would be a good avenue for the band kids to get together and play in the pit, and the drama kids to get together from different schools and work together toward a common goal. And it's blossomed. And now basically, you know, like I say, for the drama kids, it's basically summer camp for free.
Yeah, yeah. Do you remember what our very first show was, Mr. Madden?
I do. It was Bye Bye Birdie.
Bye Bye Birdie.
Which we brought back for the 20th anniversary last year. And what's interesting is this year we're doing The King and I, and that was the second summer musical. And people say, well, how do you pick a summer musical? Well, we have a wider age group that we use for the summer, ages 8 to 18. So we need to pick something, usually in the summer it's a little more family friendly, parts with kids. Quinn, I'm sure will tell you that's how he got started when he came to try out for a summer show. And, but anyway, so it's gone through the roof with the...
I know that we don't necessarily like repeating a show if we don't have to.
I don't.
Tell us why.
For me personally, I would rather work on something new. However, there's not that many shows that are school appropriate with little kids. And a lot of the middle and elementary school, they do junior shows. So they do the Lion King Junior or Aladdin Junior. Well, we don't do that. We do the full version of the show. And like Aladdin, since it's on Broadway, or The Lion King, since it's on Broadway, they don't license those shows. So people always say, well, do Wicked or do The Lion King. We can't because those are not released. So, you know, I have to think of the audience, and I also have to think, do we have children that can sing these roles?
Correct.
People will say, do Phantom of the Opera. This is what they say to me at the high school. Do Phantom. I said, that would be great. We don't have kids that can sing that right now. Maybe some year we will. Les Mis is another one. Do Les Mis.
Yeah.
I would like to, but you know what? The key is, people ask me this all the time too, how do you pick the show? Well, the key is picking a show that's tailored to the group of children that you have that year. And it changes.
They have to almost be a triple threat because in a musical, they have to be able to sing. Yeah, we can teach them to act, we can get them through some dance moves, but they have to be able to sing.
They have to be able to carry a tune.
Yeah.
And, you know, like my mom said when I moved down here a long time ago, in a musical, and she's right, the singing is the most important
thing. Yeah.
It is, because you
it's just
teach people to move. You know, that's why I think that our choreographer for the summer musical, Kim Beauregard, I think she does a really good job because she tailors the dances to the kids' ability level.
Yeah. Let's meet these wonderful students that we have with us. Journey, you've been here before, so what I want you to do is start so that everybody else can follow suit. Introduce yourself. Just tell us who you are, what grade you're in right now, and little extra things that you're doing outside of school. Journey.
Okay. I'm Journey Velez. I am a junior at Port St. Lucie High School. I am dual enrolled, and I plan on graduating with my associate's degree.
Cool. Chelsea?
I'm Chelsea Kitzelman. I go to Port St. Lucie High School. I'm in 11th grade. I did dual. I still kind of do dual over the summer and stuff like that, but naturally I do IB at the school plus the theater and dance department.
Cool. Quinn?
I'm Quinn Simmons. I'm a junior at Lincoln Park Academy. I'm in the IB program over there. Outside of that, I'm also involved in Odyssey of the Mind, our wind ensemble, obviously the Port St. Lucie High School theater department, and I'm also involved a little bit with the lyric theater.
Okay, Mr. Madden, what is this thing about being a theater? We don't necessarily call it drama anymore. Theater teacher. What all does that involve?
It involves a lot of things probably that people don't realize. I'm sure they know me as a director, but I work a full day of school.
And then some.
Right. We have class all day long. Now, the students that I have in class during the day, they're not required to do the play. The play for the high school or for the summer where we utilize kids from all the schools, those are all after-school activities. So what we do in class is completely separate from the shows because the kids are all in different classes, so we can't rehearse during the day. So, I teach a full-time day there, and I also do tons of field trips. We have season tickets to the Kravis Center. In fact, tomorrow night we're seeing Kinky Boots on the Kravis Center Broadway series. All of my seniors, as you know, because I've talked about it before, all of the seniors in my program go to the Kravis Center for free for the Broadway series. I also do a New York trip, which is in December, which I plan and do entirely myself. We see at least 10 Broadway shows in a week, and that's underway for December. And the things that I do, publicity, all the advertising, the posters, just the scheduling, and people, you and I were talking even before we went on the air about arts teachers, and it's changed, and it's a very hard job. A lot of people who come into this profession, the arts part is very easy for them because they're artsy and they like putting on the show. But what they don't realize now is if you're a teacher, you also have to do lesson planning.
Correct.
And evaluation and
testing,
all the paperwork that goes, as even myself, I had to give the FSA test. So there's a lot of things, as being a school person that you're required to do that have nothing to do with the theater.
So if I was to visit your classroom at this time, I would possibly see students designing sets, working on sets, learning about the construction of, and they may not be the stars of the show like these students.
No, in fact, my International Baccalaureate theater program that all of their work is due next week. And all of the projects that they do, which we're filming and getting ready to be sent in, those projects all go overseas for evaluation. And so what you would have seen yesterday if you came by the room is people scrambling to get their papers uploaded, because in the olden days, we'd stick them in the mail and mail them, and now everything needs uploaded on a flash drive on the computer.
Okay. So, how many musicals does this make for our students? And Journey, can we start with you again? How many musicals does this make? If you can kind of give us approximately.
This will be my fifth musical.
Your fifth musical.
Yes.
Chelsea?
This is also my fifth.
Okay. Quinn's counting.
Quinn's counting.
He's using his manipulatives there.
I think eight maybe.
Okay.
Somewhere around there. It's
around
been a
8.
while. Yeah.
I'll ask this question of everyone, including Mr. Madden. When did you first fall in love with the theater? When did you first fall in love with the theater? And if you need be, because I heard Chelsea say she's in the dance program as well, when did you first fall in love with the arts? Okay, Ms. Madden.
I have said this before on this program, but from being involved through church and getting involved in a local community theater production of The Music Man.
The music, I remember The Music Man when you were Yay High.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I love to go to the theater as much as I like to do it.
Yes.
I like to support it. I like to see it. And the only thing that I wish for me as a person is I just wish I could enjoy it a little bit more than to be so critical.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's the
you're
nature-
always looking
that's
at
the nature
critical
of the beast.
Yes. Journey.
Well, my freshman year, I was actually dating somebody who was in the theater program.
When you were playing football, right?
I was a football
yeah.
player, yes, and I also did wrestling as well too. But I was dating her, and you know, I would just see she would always talk about Mr. Madden's program and his rehearsals and what they do and how serious they are, and so she invited me to go see. He was doing Hello Dolly at the time. And so I went and saw it, and I thought it was amazing, and I said, wow, I want to be up there doing that. I didn't think I would be able to do it, but then Mr. Madden offered for me to audition for the show, and I was a little iffy about it at first, but after a lot of pestering, I finally did it, and I love it.
Yeah, cool. Chelsea.
I've always liked it. I've always been into it. I liked seeing shows and stuff like that just around. But it wasn't really until throughout this year that I actually developed a passion for it, and I actually enjoyed doing it. I think Guys and Dolls, I was just in the chorus. I was one of the Hotbox girls, but just performing then really, I don't know, it just kind of opened up for me. I don't know, that's kind of just when it developed. And going to New York and seeing the Kravis shows and stuff like that, watching that is inspiring. It is so inspiring just going to see all these shows. No matter what I'm doing, I make sure that I'm always available to go see them. I take off of work and stuff like that. It's just, I don't know, I think it really developed over Guys and Dolls and over going to New York, going to the Kravis and stuff like that.
Quinn.
I've been involved with the arts since I was a really, really young kid, but I feel like I really fell in love with it. There was a week that I was visiting New York with some friends, and we sat in on a rehearsal at the Manhattan School of Music and saw Phantom of the Opera the next day on Broadway. And I feel like seeing those two just such professional environments and people who were also dedicated and passionate to the arts made me realize that you can turn this into your life. You can take something that you love and do it. And that was really inspiring to me, and I feel like that was really when I realized the arts is what I want to do and what I love.
Quinn says, that's what I think is great about Lincoln Park when they go to things like that, or when Port St. Lucie High School takes our annual trip, because the kids see that job is attainable. They meet with the actors, and the actors tell them, when I was in high school, I was in this show, this show, this show. I went to college here, and look, now I'm on Broadway. Mm-hmm. So it brings it home to the children in a way that I didn't have in my school in Western Pennsylvania when I was in school, that the kids see that this is actually an attainable career, that these are people that were students just like them not very long ago, and they're performing on Broadway.
I think one of the neat things that our programs do, that our schools in St. Lucie County does well, is that we expose children to many different opportunities, many different careers. I often tell the story that I was in a movie growing up, 20th Century Fox, with John Voight, Matt Sinclair, Antonio Fargas, and I love to sing, I love to dance, but if I would have known then what I know now, as soon as I graduated college, I would have packed that little Volkswagen up and went straight to the city. You would
Well,
have seen me singing and dancing on Broadway too.
That's really interesting that you say that, because I was having a very similar conversation about when I graduated from school, because I love my job, I have a great job.
Yeah.
However, I could have run a theater, like a professional theater, or I might have been a casting person. I have a real interest in that. But I just didn't have enough knowledge at the time. And now,
about the other opportunities.
through what I've learned through taking my kids, because, teachers, we're still learning. Mm-hmm. And through all these workshops and everything that I've done, there's a lot of jobs and stuff that I had no idea as a student existed, that our kids in St. Lucie County are so lucky to know about, and have people here who can take them, mold them, and guide them in a direction where it really does alter the course of their life.
The other neat part about it is that we know that Port St. Lucie has a very strong theater program, and we have some schools that's beginning to rise as well. But when we do the Summer Musical Theater Project, it gives students from 8 to 18 from all of the St. Lucie Public Schools an opportunity to audition and to be in the show and kind of learn the workings of a musical.
Right, and I think that it's interesting, and Quinn could probably speak to this, but you know, it's different. Different programs are run differently, and they have different focus, and that doesn't mean one's better than the other. It means people bring their talent and their prior knowledge to their teaching, so he can get something probably from the teacher at LPA that he's not getting from Mr. Madden. So it's interesting to have them come and see all the different ways that things can be run.
The other thing, and anybody can jump in, guys, that I think happens is that we create arts lovers for life. Even when we leave the
That's
stage.
the most important, Mr. Perry. That's the most
connoisseurs
important.
of the arts. I happened to be at the Bacchus Theater the other day and just fell in love with some work that Bacchus did when he was 12 years old. I heard Irish Tune from County Derry by a college band a week ago, and even to this day, it was so brilliantly played that I got emotional listening to it all these years later after I played it. You know, let's jump back into what's happening, Mr. Madden, and this is for everybody too. I'm gonna start with Mr. Madden, and we're gonna come to you guys. Jump in.
Okay.
What is the audition process like from your aspect as the director, and then we'll ask it from our students from there.
Well, as a director, you know, auditions are always very stressful for everybody. But as a director, you want to see everyone do well. And you've been behind the table judging auditions. You know, we're not out there to rip people apart. You want them to do well, because the better quality people that you have come, the better the show's going to be. So from a directing standpoint, it's very nerve-wracking, but you want to give them the energy, and you want them to feel, and I think that we did an exceptionally good job with The King and I this year. We spent a lot of time, and the kids can speak to that, and we really...
Journey's shaking his head like, yeah, a lot of time.
And we had to continue auditions after spring break, which was probably a blessing and a curse to the children. You can ask them. So.
Jump in there. What was the audition process like?
Well, so it's supposed to be a 2-day process.
As he looks at Mr. Madden.
This one was not, obviously, but it's a 2-day process, and we have first the initial audition, which you just go in, and you know they give you some choreography and some music to sing, and sometimes we do some acting, some reading, and you get checks on people. The judges grade you based off your checks, and then Mr. Madden will announce who is coming to callbacks. And so whoever comes to callbacks has a chance to audition for the leads. And the callbacks are usually the day after the initial auditions. And so the callbacks, is when we audition for our parts. And after that, he announces the part, which is always really nerve-wracking. But for this show, we had to wait because we had so many kids audition and so much talent that, you know, the judges couldn't make a decision. So
that's a good thing that we've got so many
now,
talented
people
kids.
don't realize, you know, you have a couple hundred people audition, so you don't want to rush anyone or neglect anyone.
Right. Anybody else? Chelsea, go in.
Basically what Journey said, it's the months before it are very precise because you're trying to find time in your life. We're all students, some of us have jobs, do other activities and stuff like that. You're trying to find time in your life to practice because you know that you have this coming up, and then when it finally comes down to it, depending on if you've worked, you know how hard you worked, you know how long you've worked, and it's like so nerve-wracking because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how hard anyone else has worked, you don't know what they've done, you don't know what's better, what's worse, blah, blah, blah. It's so nerve-wracking.
This summer musical theater project number 21 is The King and I. What's the backstory about The King and I?
Well, The King and I is based on it's a loosely based true story on when Anna, the school teacher from England, came to Siam, that was what Thailand was called at that time, to see the king of Siam and try to educate them on Western culture and the relationship between Anna and the king and how she changes him in regards to his views on many things.
So students, tell us what your roles are in The King and I.
I'm going to be playing the king.
The king?
Yes, the king. That's why my head is shaved.
Chelsea?
Anna.
You're Anna,
yes.
okay.
And I'll be playing Lunta. He is a slave sent from Burma with the love of his life, who is also a slave, Tuptim, who becomes a slave for the king. And it's basically kind of a forbidden love story between Lunta and Tuptim.
Tell us more about your roles, because I assume that everybody knows the king and I like we do, but just in case somebody doesn't
They
know.
don't, Mr. Perry,
I know.
they don't.
That's why I caught myself. Let's tell us a little bit about Anna and who she is and what she does, and then we'll go to the king.
Well, she's from England. She's very proper and independent, and she's very strong on her morals. She doesn't appreciate when women are treated badly. She just basically, throughout the entire story, just demonstrates through her own actions how she feels that the people around her should be taught, and she kind of brushes that off onto the king, who really just thinks that
He should rule.
he is above everyone.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. Mr. King?
Well, the king, he's a very powerful man. He's also a very stubborn person, and he doesn't like to have any direction or any instruction, because he believes that everything he thinks is right. And so when Anna comes along, she kind of challenges the king, and he kind of likes it. He kind of likes that challenge, and you can see throughout the story how Anna changes the king and his stubbornness.
We know that the arts are very important to the life of a child. It helps them be 21st century and future ready. It helps them make good relationships. It helps them in school do well academically. What would you students say about how the arts are important academically?
I feel like being a part of the arts for so long has really taught me how to think creatively, and amongst the other skills, how to speak eloquently, and basically how to convey how you feel and what you think into anything, really, whether it be acting or singing or dancing. I feel like children of the arts are just so prepared to communicate how they feel and what they think to the rest of the world. And I feel like in the 21st century, communication is one of the most important things in rebuilding our society. So I feel like the arts is definitely going to help us.
Anybody else?
I would have to say organization, definitely. Especially with Mr. Madden shows, the schedule is crazy.
Crazy.
About 4 days a week, 3 hours a night, I would have to say. And us having to put schoolwork mixed in with that, and other activities, and it just really teaches you how to organize your time and cut your time into being successful.
And plus, I think all three of these students have a job in addition to
Yes.
their schoolwork. and-
IB, dual
Right.
enrollment.
Yes.
Yeah, right. And then your 3-hour rehearsals.
But that's
one
why
night a
they're
week.
going to be
Very
successful
much
at
so.
college.
Yes.
Because I know that if the students cannot manage their time and all they do is schoolwork, down the road they're going to have trouble when mom and dad aren't there. And these students, I know, are going to be successful.
Mr. Madden, when can we see The King and I, and where can we purchase tickets?
Well, The King and I opens June 14th and runs through June 18th for 7 shows. It runs Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, 2 shows on Saturday, and 2 shows on Sunday. Tickets are still $15, and the reason that we can charge so little for such a big show is that we have so many people come. And that's why you need to get your tickets early.
Yeah.
Tickets are available. They'll be available at the beginning of May and then through June at Jay's Jewelry in St. Lucie West, Perkins on US 1 in Port St. Lucie, Honey Baked Ham in Stewart, and Joy's Ice Cream in Fort Pierce, and the Tin Fish in Port St. Lucie.
What's your favorite musical and why? What is your favorite musical? Mr. Madden, we're going to start with you.
Well, I'm going to give you a different one than what I normally give
Uh-oh.
you.
He has a new one.
Because the musical that I've done at the high school that I like the most is a show called Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, which actually we are going to be performing again 20-some years later.
I was about to say. It's been
It's a long time. I don't know if you even saw it when we did it originally. But it's a show that not a lot of people have seen, written by Andrew Lloyd Webber, who did Cats and Phantom, Evita. And we're going to do that show in the fall. And it's a show that people love. And a show I never got tired of seeing. So
Okay.
that's the one I'll go with.
Quinn.
I would have to say Fiddler on the Roof. It was the second show that I was ever in, and I feel like it just really demonstrates classical musical theater, and it has such a powerful message behind it, and it's just a really beautiful show.
Chelsea.
My favorite has to be School of Rock because that was the first musical that I ever saw on Broadway. That was with Mr. Madden last year. Yeah. I don't know. I really liked it because that was just it was just really inspiring to me because there was these little kids on stage singing, dancing, and playing their live instruments, and there was so many of them, and there was so much talent, and it just inspired me. Like, these little kids can do so much.
I saw that one on Broadway too. He told me to go see it.
It was
as well.
good,
Yeah, it was really good.
It's a good one.
Journey.
My favorite musical that I've seen would have to be Holiday Inn, and I saw that on the New York trip last year with Mr. Madden. That was my very first musical seeing on Broadway, and I just love the environment of it, and there's just the classical feel of it, and the style of singing, and the tapping in it was incredible. It was incredible.
And talk about who stayed after and spoke to you after you saw the show.
Yes, and Corbin Bleu actually, and you would know him from High School Musical mostly. Yeah, he starred in it, and he actually stayed after, and he had a workshop with us in the theater after that.
Quickly, tell me this.
Yes.
What's your most memorable performance? What's your most memorable performance? Quinn, you want to start?
Sure. Actually, just this past year at Lincoln Park Academy, we took a one-act production to state competition, and it was called Falling from Trees. It was written by a local author, and I starred in it as a teenager with a mental disability. And it was memorable to me because my younger brother also has a mental disability, so portraying that on the stage was really emotional, and I was really proud to portray that on stage.
Chelsea.
Opening night of Guys and Dolls, the first number that I went on with the girls, it was just the feeling that I got of being on stage that time. Even though I had performed before, that exact moment, just the feeling of it was like none other.
Journey.
I would have to go back to Guys and Dolls, and I'd have to say the closing night of Guys and Dolls, "Luck Be a Lady," because it was that song is such just an amazing song that I fell in love with, and it was really emotional for me to perform that one last time, and the guys were just so powerful in it, and I just really felt it inside of me.
Mr. Madden, tell us again those show dates.
June 14th through June 18th. 7 big shows, The King and I, the 21st Annual St. Lucie County School Board Summer Musical.
And when somebody tell us, why should our viewing audience come see The King and I?
Because it's a classic.
It is a classic.
It is.
We have some fabulous students that are starring in The King and I as well. We have a wonderful director. If you have not seen any of the shows at Port St. Lucie High, if you haven't seen any of the 20 previous summer musical theater projects, you're in for a real treat when you go to see The King and I starring Journey, Chelsea, and Quinn. I guarantee you will enjoy the show. We thank you for joining us today. And as we close, Mr. Madden, I want you to tell us, what do you believe when it comes to the arts?
I believe that we have the power to change the lives of the students and the lives of community members who come and are inspired and changed by the performances of our students.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here on The Spotlight, where we shine the spotlight on the arts. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you at The King and I.